let's get this party started. Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. I'm excited for what's coming today. We are gonna do something really interesting. All of the things we're doing are interesting, but I'm actually excited about the thing that we're doing today. I don't know how I managed to go that long in Solana development without ever doing this. Today, we're gonna talk about Websockets and how you can get updates for Solana state changes. Because at one point or another in your dev journey, you will want to do that. And for me, that day is today. And probably for you too, because you're watching this video. Today we're gonna talk about the Solana WebSocket API. Yeah, that thing. And that's a good time to define what a WebSocket is. Because usually on the web, we just have simple requests. Let's go from here to here. User requesting a web page, hitting that button, HTTP request being sent, server response, sends the web page, and here you have it. Boom. That's how all those HTTP requests work, right? It's just a one-time thing. We establish the connection, HTTP is on top of TCP, therefore we do have a connection established, and then we send the data, but then the connection breaks again. And by break, it's closed. WebSockets, on the other hand, keep an open connection. It's a socket. The term socket, probably also familiar from TCP IP, where the socket defines the IP address and the port. So which server and which application on that server. But I don't want to go too much into detail here. This is not a networking class. But the point is, WebSockets are that thing for the web. It's not just regular applications that have a established network connection with some client connecting to some server and keeping an open connection, but this is web-based, so we're dealing with the protocols that were used from the web, HTTP. Yeah, so long story short, with a WebSocket, the client connects to the RPC or whatever server they have, and then that connection is kept open so they can keep communicating, and the server can just push a notification to the client. The client doesn't need to poll, hey, is there new data there? Server being like, no. Then the client needs to go like, okay, I'm waiting a second. Hey, is there new data there? Server be like, no. And the client be like, okay, I'll wait another second. Hey, is there new data there? You know where I'm going with this? This is not ideal. That's called polling. With WebSockets, we can be like, hey, tell me when there's new data there. And then the server is like, okay. And then whenever new data is there, hey, here's that data. Much better, right? With that illustration, I can't do animations, so I gotta work with my hands. I hope it's now understandable. Cool, we established what a WebSocket is. Now let's see how this is used with Solana RPCs to actually get state updates. Boom! Solana config set. I wanted to go to devnet and set my key to because I like that. I've seen this a bunch of times and I've used this URL but never really paid attention to what that is. Like, it's the WebSocket URI. Okay, but what is that? Like, I never even, like, you know, just didn't really bother about that. But today we're gonna actually have a look at what that is used for. And it's computed, because it's the same freaking address, just that we're not using HTTP, we're using secure WebSockets. And same as with HTTP and HTTPS, we're using the common HTTP and HTTPS ports. That specification is not actually that important as we're just gonna use it. And it's just gonna work. Just so you know what that means, right? We're talking about a WebSocket here. So how do you do WebSockets with TypeScript? Great question. There's a WebSocket, interface WebSocket, provides API for creating and managing WebSocket connections to a server. Nice, there seems to be something TypeScript native that is a WebSocket. Sweet! But how do I use that? With a URL. Well, that's helpful. So, new WebSocket. And guess what? Yeah, we're just gonna use this thing. Nice. And then we have a WebSocket. Haha. Cool, what can we do with this WebSocket? On close, on error, on open, send. So this is the one way. And then the coming back are all those on. I think we're just gonna implement those on close. Why did I implement on close first? I want to be able to say goodbye if you close it. So where would I write that code then? Cannot invoke an object. Let's add event listeners. Maybe that makes more sense. Here I can say close error open close. And here I can put a listener. Yeah, that's nice. So the listener gets the WebSocket and the event. And I can do anything with that, such as connection closed. Goodbye. Oh, I need to type it. Maybe it needs to be this. Oh, maybe this comes in. Can I just do that? I don't need that anyway. I mean, that works, I guess, because I don't need the event. But what if I need the event? Like, let's say on message, I would really like the message. So error function cannot have a this. How does TypeScript work again? I mean, I could just Google stuff. WebSocket TS example. Can't be so hard. On message, you just take the message. The this maybe might be implied as the first. Okay. How about? Okay. Sure. Let's do that. And what is in my EV? My electric vehicle, I mean event. We have data. But again, that can be any, because any. I'll just put it here and we'll see what comes. And then the last event is open. Maybe put that on top because this makes more sense to my brain, although it's the same. And then also I would like to have the on error because you never know, just in case I ever need to look at errors, which I hope I won't. So let's open a WebSocket. I wonder what happens if I just execute this code now. TS node WebSockets. Well, of course, we get an error because TypeScript is not happy with my message event. Cannot find name WebSocket. Well, that's the problem if that TypeScript that I have here is probably a different one. Damn. What do we need for TypeScript WebSockets? npm install. Well, okay. Okay. Types. Okay. From WebSocket. Import WebSocket. See, now we have something different. Now if we use the WebSocket from WS, that's probably a different one, because now we need a message event. Sure. Error needs a error event. Well, then have an error event from WebSocket. Hehe. Then you get the error and the message. That's even better. Maybe that's a long thing. I don't know. We'll see that anyway. Okay, does that work now though? Oh, we got a new connection. Nice. Sweet. It's not doing anything though, because obviously we're not sending anything. So WebSocket be like, hey, sure, I open a WebSocket connection for you and keep it open for no reason. And then it does that. It just keeps an open connection. I can't even kill it. I mean, I can kill the program, yeah, but can I then say WebSocket close? That is a method, right? So I open the connection and I close the connection. WebSocket was closed before the connection was established. Connection closed, goodbye. But the error works. Error, WebSocket. Okay. So the error is literally the message prefixed with error. So if we do something like that, that should be sufficient, right? Oh no, now I get the entire stack trace. That's so fun. TypeScript is so fun. Look at this. If I do this, I don't get the entire stack trace anymore because it's not calling that to string, but it's concatenating to a string. Then it just concatenates apparently error and message. But this gives me the entire stack trace. Is that fun? Since I'm not interested in that part, I'm just gonna... Yes. Okay, yeah. But I'm gonna have a lowercase e just so I know this is my version. Okay, cool. Anyway, so errors work, great. Well, then let's not close it before it's opened and just close it when it's opened. That's freaking genius. Then we should not get an error. There we go. We open a connection and we close a connection. Amazing. We can work with WebSockets. Cool, now let's actually also try and get some messages. And for that, we probably want to, you know, request something or send something or do something productive here. What would that be though? Tap, tap, ow, 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 that hurt, ow. Why did I hit my lip? Stupid. Because you want to be funny, you idiot. Stop flashing people with white light. Ah, stop it. It's not nice for your eyes either. I can even define the port, but the thing, I think it does it automatically. How can I send something? Probably with WebSocket send. And obviously we don't want to send something before the connection has been established. So we're gonna do that here. Gonna send. After it's been opened, we're gonna send, I don't know, data. And here is the point where we need to look at the methods of the WebSockets. Because those are now different, similar to the HTTP methods from RPC servers. We can, you know, request with method get balance. That's a one-time thing, right? We do the HTTP request and it gives us the balance. With WebSockets, we have different methods. We can subscribe to stuff and then unsubscribe from that same stuff. Subscribing is the more important though, because if you close the connection, you automatically unsubscribe anyway. So let's work with the first one, account subscribe. Probably actually a good one to start with. What does that do? Well, we tell the server, hey, if that account changes, let us know. So I don't need to constantly poll. I can just get the updates for that account. So what do we need to send? A string for the account that I want to subscribe to. Then object option. Okay. That's the parameters. So we're in here now. The method is this, and the parameters is first a string, and then we can have an optional object with the string commitment and the string encoding. So like here. And commitment are the commitment levels, processed, confirmed, finalized. And encoding, we see we can have base 58, base 64, whatever that is, and JSON parsed. Base 58 is slow, so base 64 is preferred. JSON parsed encoding attempts to use program-specific state parsers to return more human-readable and explicit amounts data, such that we don't have to manually parse it. All right. Well, yeah, then let's try this. Let's subscribe to an account. Essentially, we just want to send something like that. I'm gonna build myself a function here. Function subscribe to account with a WebSocket and account. Pub key that I'll get from Solana Web 3 because we're gonna do Solana specific stuff now. Actually, nah. Make it a string because we're gonna put it in as a string anyway. And then I'll just put in my request data as if that was direct JavaScript. So we have the JSON RPC, the ID, again, that's probably such that we can match request to response. So even if I have 1337 here, it will come back with the ID 1337. That's the method that needs to be named exactly like that because that's just the name of that method. And then the parameters, here I'll put in my account and the encoding, yeah, JSON parsed. And commitment finalized, but that's too much. Confirmed is totally enough for me. Yeah, and that thing I literally just put into my WebSocket send. Or maybe a stringify this. Then I put in a string here. We'll see. Send, just send something. And if I send that, I hope that I get that as a result, and the result comes back here as a message, and hopefully we then get that in the data. And then here I just call this function subscribe to account with my WebSocket and this account, Solana address. So okay, now should something at that account change, we should get an update. That's the idea. But before that, we should even already get a message back that the subscribing to this account was successful. Let's see if that happens. Ah, look at that. We got a new connection and then we get a new message. As we would expect, amazing. The ID, it mirrors back what I put in as the ID here. The result, that's just a number. And that number I will need to use if I want to unsubscribe. So the result, that's a number, subscription ID. It's what I need to unsubscribe. And the notification format is the same as the get account info. Okay, so whenever the account changes, I now get a notification in the form of what I would get with get account info with the addition of the subscription here probably, such that I can again map them. All right, and get account info, you know, is the classic. In the data, we get base 58 encoded account data and the Lampert's field, the executable field, the owner field, rand epoch field, and space. Yeah, let's change some stuff on that account, right? Because we're waiting. Oh, I closed it. Did I close it? Was it closed after some time? Why was it closed? Or can you not hold the connection for long? It has it open for a bit, but then it got closed after a while, I think. And that's probably because I'm connecting to the public RPC, which probably doesn't allow for many connections and long connections. I'm not sure. We'll have to play around with this. But anyway, while the connection is open, we should see updates if that account changes. So let's make that account change. More terminals. That's what I want. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, after a while it just closes. And that's not even that long. What was that? A minute, 2 minutes, something like that. Probably if we were to use a custom RPC, then it would hold the connection longer. But anyway, let's keep working with this for now. And say, Solana, freaking airdrop me 5 sol. Am I gonna be too greedy? Yeah, probably too greedy. No! Haha! I got 5 sol and the update directly here. Did you see that? Like pretty much immediately when the transaction came through, like when it got confirmed, I received it here. And then I pretty much at the same time, I received it here, a new message. And the message again comes in that format, right? What we see here. I should probably print that a bit prettier. The method is the account notification. We get the context with the current slot and then the value. That's all the value stuff. And the subscription, which is 729022, which is also what we got here. Yeah, so that matches this again. And the value, that's the interesting part. If we want to parse this now, we see we got a bunch of Lamperts, 5 billion, because we got 5 sol, and the data is empty, encoded in base 64. System program is the owner and it's not executable. Nice, nice, nice. And that way we can actually get updates. Isn't that cool? Now, I think I'm gonna get myself a custom RPC though, because always opening the connection every 2 minutes is a bit annoying. So, Helios. Now, webhooks are something different again. But Helios does have Websockets in beta. This feature is only available for paid users while still in beta. God damn it. The entire thing? Connection closed. Goodbye. Server responded with 401. The 4s are, this is your fault. The 5s are, this is my fault, says the server. But the 4s are, this is your fault. The 404, for instance, is, this doesn't exist. That's your fault. 401 is just the, you're not allowed here. Your fault. You shouldn't have tried to connect. Fine. Not gonna do that. Let's see that. There we go. QuickNote does allow me to use WebSockets in the free plan. And if we now, I don't know, Solana transfer 1 sol, no, first to myself 1 sol. I should also get that update because the state changes on that account because I pay transaction fees. And boom, finalizing. And it's already here. This is so fun. I do want to print that nicer though. How can we do that? Let's do that. Good news is that connection seems to stay open. Type data is not assignable to string. To string then. Then we can access all that stuff, right? Give it to me again. In the params, that's where the interesting stuff happens. Actually, it's probably easier to see it here. In params value, that's where then all the stuff is. And actually all that I'm interested in is the lamparts. So lamparts. And then I can say new balance lamparts divided by lamparts per sol. Let's see if that would do. New balance, none. Oh, that's true, because not every event is such a notification. So I should have probably checked for the notification. But then here, if I transfer to myself, oh, that also didn't work. Damn it. Let's debug this. Okay, we're already undefined with the value. Why does params not have... Oh, because the value is in result. Damn it, I'm just blind. That's my problem. Okay, result. Yeah, that's much better. Away go the debug logs. And we now have the new balance of 4.999955 sol, because we paid a bit of transaction fees. Good. Gucci Gucci. So yeah, we can listen to events. We can subscribe to accounts. Whenever that account changes, I get an update. Oh yeah, maybe we should also fix that. Hold on. If data method is account notification, then we want to do that. Then we don't get this at the first one where we just subscribe, and we do get it though now when we get the account notification. Sweet. And if we were to send some money somewhere else, accidentally send an entire sol to this address, boom, then it's not 4 point something, but 3 point something. And did you see how quick we got that response? And we don't need to poll for that. Like, we don't need to request, hey, what's the current balance, and see if it changed. No, we can just subscribe to that account and then lean back and wait for the server to push us the update, the account notification. Isn't that nice? And that's essentially what WebSockets are used for. And for now, we've just been looking at one account. We subscribed to one account, this one. And we could do that for, you know, several accounts. We can have several subscriptions open at the same time. So I don't know, I could also subscribe to this account. And then now they both have the same ID, which is maybe not ideal, but because I can't match them here, which one comes from where. But it doesn't matter, because this is the important part now. This is what I can use to unsubscribe, and this is how they will distinguish the notification. So if I do the same thing, but maybe let's just send 0.01 because we don't have that much, and we send that, then we should get 2 updates. The first one being this one. This is our account with the 64786, and then the other one with the, you don't see it because I'm in the way. Yeah, they're the 64786, and here we have the 64787. That's the other account, and those are the lamparts. So it has 1016 lamparts. Wow, nice. And if I send some more, then it will have some more. Look at that. Now from 28 to 29, and me from 398 to 397. Yeah, so I get updates for both of the accounts now, right? I can subscribe to an account and then I get notifications for it. And I don't know if there's a limit, and if there is, it's probably also given by the RPC. Yeah, so that was the account subscribe with the JSON parsed. Should we have a look at what it would look like if you get it in base 64? No, but I do want to know what base 64 plus that thing is. I'm just gonna connect to 1 again. And instead of JSON parsed, I want this. What would that look like? Okay, so that encoding is just for the account data. And since we don't have any account data, it doesn't really matter. Let me guess, if I just do base 64, it's an empty string again. Yeah. So I don't even know which kind of accounts it would JSON parse. But then let's go back to JSON parsed. Create token. Moving windows because I can. And now we create a token account. And every time we get an update because we pay something. This is fun. And now we just subscribe to that token account. How about that? So then if we SPL token mint this token 1, then we get a response here. The new balance is this, because this is now, I mean, this is the same balance as before, but this is the balance for a token account as we know it. And yeah, cool. Oh, their data, this is the parsed data now. Nice. So it parses, the program is SPL token, so that basically says which kind of format it gives us. And then the parsed data, parsed has an info. It's not a native token, so it's not sol. The mint is this, the owner is this, state is initialized, and the token amount is 1 token with 9 decimals. So UI amount is 1. This divided by 10 to the power of 9 is 1.0. And as a string, that's 1. So we get convenient like formats here that we can just directly use. The type of account is account. So it's a token account, not a token mint. And the space, yeah, that's a classic token kek token account size, which you know has this for rent exemption. And the owner is of course the token kek, the token program. Nice, cool. So that's where this JSON parse is helpful. If we were to request that in base 64, then it would look differently, right? Then we would just get the actual account data and we would need to decode that and then read with the correct bytes to get the actual information. Could be that this JSON parsed makes it a bit slower to be served, the request, but therefore we get it in a nicer format than if it's just base 64. Nice, I like it. Cool, cool, cool. So what's next? Oh, we can look at the commitment as well. So if I were to say finalized, then it would take much longer, right? Because here I get the confirmation when it's confirmed, like I'm sending now. Now it's confirmed, but now the RPC is waiting until it's finalized before it gives me the update. Now it's finalized, it gives me the update. And depending on what you want to do, you might want to change your commitment. If you just want to make sure that you don't miss anything, but it's not time critical, then finalized is just fine. But if you're doing like game stuff or whatever, where you need the quick responses, you could even go processed. Then you get the response even quicker. Like, look, we're minting and boom, we already have the info even before it's confirmed. However, note that in processed, the transaction might not actually go through. Because process just means that the one validator that is building that block has put it in the block and that one validator confirmed it. But only if 66% of stake weight actually confirmed it, will it be confirmed. So if you only want to get updates where you can be somewhat safe that they actually happened, like the state is actually persisted, then confirmed is probably what you want to go with. But with processed, you get them the quickest. And most of the transactions that get processed also get confirmed. I don't actually have any data on that. And it also depends on the transaction, which kind of transaction it is, how much other state it touches. So yeah, I would assume that most of the processed transactions get confirmed and then finalized. I'm pretty sure that so far all of the transactions that get confirmed also get finalized. I haven't heard of any time where that hasn't been the case. So yeah, finalized, if you want to play it very safe, probably confirmed is per default what you want to go with. And I think confirmed is also the default, or maybe you need to provide that. Oh, it is optional. So what is the default? Well, let's see. If we don't provide that, then we get finalized. Okay, so the default is finalized. It's waiting for the finalized. Yeah, there we go. So default is actually finalized. If you want anything faster, like confirmed or processed, you need to write down your commitment. I would recommend confirmed. unless you're super critical and you want like, and it's not that important that you get something wrong, then yeah. Anyway, you'll need to know that for yourself. So cool, we looked at that as well. Now, what's next? What's next? I mean, unsubscribe. Do we even want to do this? Essentially, method unsubscribe and then give the ID for the subscription to cancel. I mean, just for fun. It's not really fun, is it? Unsubscribe from account notifications and the ID number. So we need account unsubscribe and the parameters are just the number, the ID. Okay, just the ID. That's it. So how about if I receive a message, data ID is 1337 because that's what we used for account subscribe. Then we read the subscription, which was result. You are now subscribed with ID. And then I directly unsubscribe because I can. Unsubscribe like you do with my YouTube channel if I post shit. And for the unsubscribe, I take 1338 such that I can else if yes, because we don't know what switching is. The result will just be true. If success, then successfully unsubscribed. And I could track the subscription. Actually, I could put the subscription as the ID as well, but then I can't track it as easily here in code. So that's why there is a difference between that. I could structure that better, and I hope you get how that all works and you do it better in your program. Of course you will. And then we start this and then we have a look at that. And wow, we already successfully unsubscribed. That was quick. So we got the new message. We successfully subscribed. This is the subscription. And then we directly get the new message. True, we successfully unsubscribed because we directly, when we received that message, unsubscribed again. And now, even if I change something on that account, we don't get anything back. We could also only ever unsubscribe after the first notification. How would we do that? Is that in params or is that not in params? That is in params, right? Okay, so data params subscription. And then we unsubscribe from that. Could also do that. Run it again. We are now subscribed with that ID and we now mint the token. Then we get the message and we now successfully unsubscribe. That if we mint something again, we don't get a new message. There we go. Stays the same. Yeah, so that's subscribing and unsubscribing. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Just put in the right values, whatever, it's easy. And that was for accounts. We can subscribe and unsubscribe from accounts. So one specific account of the Solana blockchain will, like, if something changes there, the data or the lamperts, which is part of the data, changes. At least that's what this description says. Subscribe to an account to receive notifications when the lamperts or data of a given account public key changes. And actually, no, maybe I don't want to stop here. Maybe I do want to see, because an account has more fields, just because I can. Yeah, I kind of want to do that. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it on a new key pair. Let's assign that to someone else. And we're going to listen to that one. And we're not going to unsubscribe. So we're going to just listen to this account and we're going to do the following. We're going to do a system program assign. Oh, but we can only assign once we transferred something there. That's fine. Because obviously the account needs to exist. We can look at that. So assign what you need. My key pair that is paying and then the assignee. How do you spell that? Assignee. That's the guy who gets assigned. And the program ID, it really doesn't matter who I assign it to. Who cares? Give it to the token program. And I sign with my key pair, and of course my assignee also needs to sign, otherwise the system program won't let me write there. If I now TS node my assign, this is not gonna work because the account doesn't exist. Oh, it does work. That's cool. I would not have expected that. I mean, I paid for that. The assign went through. It's now assigned to the token program, even without the account existing. And here it says it's assigned to the system program because the account doesn't exist. Okay, well, I mean, it works. Okay, so it works, but then it's immediately deleted again because there's 0 Lamperts on that account. So it's not actually persisted. If I want that change to be persisted, then I need to transfer some sol to that account first. And I can do that, and that will then show up. Check this out. Solana, transfer to this account, 0.01 sol. Bam. Oh yeah, it's not funded, of course. Every time the same. The CLI is so annoying. There we go. We are subscribed. New balance is now this. And now if we assign it again, because assuming the system program is still assigned to it. Yeah. Look at that though. Look at that. Na 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 na. We did get another notification. The owner is now token Z. But neither the data nor the Lamperts changed. Because that was the same before, and that was the same before as well. That account is now, it exists and is assigned to the token program. But my point here is, those docs are not super accurate. Account subscribe actually, at least with QuickNote, gives you notifications for any state change, not just data or Lamperts, unless you count the owner of the program being part of the data, but it's not. It's a separate field. You know, it's one of those native fields that every freaking account has. Every account has an owner and an executable and a rand epoch. So if the owner changes, you also get updates, which is what I would expect if I subscribe to an account, right? So that's good, but that is not 100% accurate. Also includes other fields. All right, but with that, I can leave it, right? Now we spent another 10 minutes of figuring that out. That's good. We now know that even if the owner changes, or especially if the owner changes, we also get updates. And we can finally move on to other methods or other things that we can subscribe to. Now there are unstable methods like blocks. Subscribe, receive notification anytime a new block is confirmed. And we can filter either all block, include all transactions in a block, only transactions that mention the provided public key. So we can either subscribe to all blocks or to a block that mentions an account or program. Program is also an account, so I mean, fair enough. That we know, show rewards. Level of transaction detail to return. Full signatures or none. And the result will then be, again, the subscription ID and the notification. That's the interesting part. We get the following, you know, the classic, and in the result, in the value, we get slot, which slot the block was produced in, error if something went wrong, or and block. That's the same as get block from the classic RPC request. The block with the previous block hash, the block hash of that block, the parent slot, so that's the one before that one, and the transactions, which then probably contains, you know, a lot of data because we get an entire block worth of stuff. And then block time and block height. Okay. Should we subscribe to a block and see what happens? Oh, a lot of blocks are going to be produced, right? We're going to, again, only subscribe to a block where an account is block. So, only when the account do we want the entire block. Base 64, commitment is confirmed, show rewards, yeah, whatever. And that's going to look horrible. And then I'm going to just stringify the entire data again, but somewhat nicer printed. Oh yeah, and we need to subscribe to a block. and we're gonna subscribe to any block that mentions this account. Let's see if that works, because those are the unstable methods, and those unstable methods are only available if the validator was started with RPC pop whatever flag. So it depends on the validator, apparently. Let's see. Nice. We have a new connection. That's the subscription ID. That was my ID, and that's the subscription ID. And if I now do anything like transfer 1 sol to myself, for instance. Whoa, that was quick. Yeah, I mean, block times on Solana are just 400 milliseconds. So obviously you would expect that you get that relatively quickly. So what do we get here? Well, the response is a block notification on this slot, and the value, we get the slot again, the block with previous block hash, parent slot, so it's the one before, and then transactions. And that is probably a long list of transactions, except no, it's literally one transaction. And the rewards, Lampard rent. Yeah, don't ask me what the rewards are. I don't want to say something wrong, so I don't say anything. How about that? But I want to check if in that block really... Can I search for block hash actually? Nope, then you search for the account. Well, then search for the slot. In that slot, we do have a block. All except votes are 13 transactions. So there should be 13 transactions. Or do I not understand something? I just see one transaction. Oh, maybe you just give me the transactions where my account was mentioned, because that looks like system program was invoked. Yeah, and post balances 3.9 sol, that's my account, and just the base fee. Yeah, so apparently you just include the transactions that actually mention my account. Well then, just for fun, what if I don't look for just one account, but for all of them? So I don't do this. We just say all of them, please. Give me all the blocks. Let's see. Well, yeah, obviously we get a bunch of data in our face. I'm gonna kill that. Yeah, that is in fact a bunch of data. And with the log messages. So yeah, there are several transactions then in one block, and just a bunch of stuff happening that, you know, the logging is probably the toughest thing here. So I don't even have history. So let's get rid of that. But yeah, so okay, we can also listen for all, but nah. Cool though. So that's how we would essentially be able to track transactions. But again, this is not stable. Same with slot updates, vote. I mean, who wants to subscribe to votes really? On a variety of updates on every slot. First chart receive completed. Yeah, we don't want slot updates. I mean, for me, if you're not really working on a valid, I mean, I don't see how regular application devs would need that. So yeah, this is infrastructure stuff. Let's not look at that. We want to look at the application level stuff. And logs could be application level. So we have other things that we can also look at. I'm just checking the time because I don't want this video to get too long. I tend to make very long videos, I know. But maybe let's start with signature subscribe. Or actually, while we're here, slot subscribe, because I expect that to be pretty much the same as block subscribe, but for a slot. Let's check. Anytime a slot is processed by the validator. And the notification format is parent, root, and slot. So we don't get transaction informations. Okay. Slot subscribe. And we don't need parameters for that. Slot. Lead speak. Let's subscribe to every slot and see what that looks like. Yeah, look at that. Nice. We can see the slots count up. Nice. Next. I mean, I don't really see how that is super relevant. Unless, I mean, additionally, if you want to, know which slot we're currently in, and you always update your current slot number, that is actually, yeah. I mean, why not? You get the info. If you want to just have a counter for your slots, live view of your slots, why not? Subscribe to slots. Okay, but now to the, in my opinion, more useful stuff, subscribing to a signature. Subscribe to receive a notification when a transaction with a given signature reaches the specified commitment level. So this is pretty much what we do when we confirm a transaction. Confirm transaction. I just have types, I don't have the implementation. Damn it. Hey, there we go. Took a while for me to step to the very bottom of this, but here we have, look at this, a signature subscribe. Not entirely sure if that also uses WebSockets, but when we do a confirmed transaction, then it essentially does something like that. So the signature subscribe lets us subscribe for, guess what, a signature with a given commitment level. I mean, for this use case, we have the confirm transaction, but if for some reason you want to include that in your WebSocket as well for subscribing to some one specific signature, you can do that. I mean, I could demonstrate that now, but I think it's self-explanatory enough and not that important of a feature. Did I just say to the more important? You can figure it out yourself if you want to, like if you need that, because again, all you need is tell the signature, so the base 58 encoded string, and then optional the commitment, and enable receive notification, whether or not to subscribe for notification when signatures are received by the RPC, in addition to when they are processed. Oh, that's interesting though. Received by the RPC. Which RPC? The RPC we are connected to. That could be cool though, because then we're like a bit quicker. Then we receive that when the RPC receives that. So even before it's forwarded to the validator, we can already get the notification to be like super quick. But for that, it probably needs to be the exact same RPC that receives it, right? Other RPCs just forward that to the leading validators. They don't forward it to all RPCs, no. And there's no such thing as a mempool on Solana. So yeah, it would need to be the exact same RPC, which if we are sending that transaction, then we can just track it in our applications before we send that. But anyway, yeah, so you can play with that yourself. Two more that I do want to look into. Well, one more that I do want to look into. I don't want to look into that one because it's a bit cringy, to be honest. Log subscribe. So we're filtering for something to happen in the logs, which is not a particularly efficient way. I mean, the RPC then needs to parse all the logs and stuff, and that, you know, it's a bit weird. I mean, it can work. It will work. I'm just saying that's probably, in most cases, not a nice solution, right? Because in most cases, it's easier to add an account, even if you don't use the account in a transaction, but just add it as a flag or something, and then you subscribe for that. I just don't think it's a good habit to write something in the logs just to subscribe to that part of the logs. Feels a bit weird to me, but subscribing to programs, that is useful, I think. That's like subscribing to accounts, but it's subscribing to several accounts, all the accounts owned by a given program. Subscribe to a program to receive notifications when the Lamberts or data or owner for an account owned by the given program. Changes, there's a word that I didn't see. Yeah, I do want to play with this. What do we need for that? The program ID as a string, here the system program, although that will give me a lot of stuff back. And then the classic object with commitment and filters. What can filters be? The account must meet all filter criteria. Filter object. Filter criteria. Oh, there we go. Ah, that memcopy stuff that we learned in one of the first lessons of the Solana dev course. Yeah. So we can check some data of the accounts, like we can map the account discriminator or something else. If you always have like a specific authority at the second 8 bytes, for instance. That's the classic. I don't want to go into that how to filter, but you can specify those filters. Okay, cool. And then what do we get back? The same thing as get program accounts. The notification format is a single program account as seen in the get program account. So what the get program accounts gives several, here we get one of them. And it looks like this, the pub key and the account with the data in whatever format we requested and the other fields. Okay, nice. So that's an account information. An account info. Yeah, okay, let's do that. As one last thing, let's subscribe to a program. This is how we do it. I would like it JSON parsed with confirmed commitment confirmed. And I would like the program ID and then subscribe to a program. Here I just subscribe to the token program, to the new token program. Let's see on DevNet how many token 2022 transactions we get, or account changes, because we're getting account changes and not transactions here. For transactions, there's another cool thing by Helios that transaction subscribe, but only Helios supports that. So we're not gonna talk about that today. Different video though. Soon, TM. Anyway, so let's subscribe to that and see what we get. Program subscribe. So we've got a new subscription. Oh, we got somebody did something. The token. Oh, somebody did something again. Some account, immutable owner. Oh, more stuff is happening. Oh, initialized with immutable owner again. Yeah, I mean, stuff is happening, but not like at a super high rate. Here we see token amounts being changed, token amounts being changed. We see the token amounts transaction could have triggered because the token account was created or something changed, whatever. But yeah, we see what other people do. But I don't see what the transaction did, right? I don't see if it was a mint or a transfer or a create account or whatever. I just get the updated account because something changed on the account. And yeah, that's really where this transaction subscribe would be interesting. But that's a topic for a different video. For this video, one last thing, hold on. I'm gonna not do that. I just get all the data like that, concise. So it's not like crazy much happening on the token program, like on the token 2022 program. On the token program, that would look different, I bet. Hold on. Token program. Yeah, that looks clearly different. But I would now be interested if the token 2022 program on mainnet has more activity. Yeah, more activity though. There is more activity on mainnet than there is on DevNet. Who would have thought? Yeah, I would have thought. Well, yeah, definitely more activity than when I first made a video about token 2022. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. We can get updates on whatever is happening on the token program with program subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna wait until I get kicked out. Wonder if I get kicked out. Maybe it just kicks me out if I don't receive anything. Let's stay here for a minute or two and just watch the token program do token program things. Update all the accounts. But yeah, that's nice. We can just listen to whatever changes on Solana. We don't need to query anything. It's being pushed to us. That's really nice. Especially if you develop your own thing. In your application, as soon as something changes, you want to change, the front end or whatever, the display, then that's the way to go. You want to subscribe and not constantly poll for stuff. But yeah, it seems like that public WebSocket RPC thingy doesn't kick me out. Is that a nice background? Should we end here? Yeah, I mean, why not? Isn't it nice to just be able to subscribe to accounts? Speaking of subscribing, if you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, hit that like button, and also turn on that dingy-ding bell, ring-a-ding bell dings thingy. I mean, yeah, as always, I hope that you learned something in this video. We now know how we can get updates without having to constantly ask the RPC, but the RPC telling us, yeah, that's what you were looking for. It's now ready. And that's just much nicer dev experience than constantly requesting. So I'm glad that I finally found out how that works and could share that with you. And I will keep making content. I am really interested in that transfer subscribe from Helios. I might need to make a deal with them. So yeah, I'll see you in a future video where we explore that. And for now, you can check out those previous videos and I'll be here making more content Watching all those accounts get updated. Program notification, program notification, program notification, program notification. See you in the next video. Okay, enough. If you don't throw me out, I throw me out. Bye.